Today we're going to demonstrate several examples of using variables in Engini. We'll walk through how to initialize variables, set values, append data to arrays or strings, and perform operations like incrementing and decrementing. These examples will show how variables can be used to dynamically manage and manipulate data within your workflows. Before you begin, it's important to note that if you plan to use helper variables to store specific data during the workflow runtime, you should define them outside the actions where data manipulation occurs, such as outside an if statement or a loop. This ensures that the variables are properly managed and available for use after each operation. Of course, if this isn't clear, everything will be demonstrated here with several examples. In this example, we will apply a few manipulations to opportunities retrieved from Salesforce and store them in local variables. The workflow is triggered manually, but you can also schedule it or trigger it via a webhook. First, we fetch a few opportunities from Salesforce. Next, we initialize two variables, one of array type and the other of string type. It's important to note that array variables are very flexible and can store any data type, from basic values to structured objects. You'll notice that the variables are initialized outside the for loop. Just like in any coding environment, it's more efficient to allocate variables before manipulating, appending, or deleting data. The same logic applies to workflows in Engini. Let's move into the for loop to see what happens. The data list we're looping over is the list of opportunities from Salesforce. In each iteration, we append the name, stage, and close date fields as an object to the array variable. We add braces and select the fields we want to store. In addition, we append the name related to the customer opportunity to the string variable and add a new line between each iteration. After initializing all the relevant data, we'll use the parse action to generate an organized structure, making all fields easily accessible. Then, we'll use the compose string action to display the output of the names list. Let's run the workflow and examine the output. As you can see with each iteration, the array grows as a new object containing the selected fields is added. Simultaneously, the customer's opportunity name is appended to the string variable. In this example, we're working with just 5 records, but imagine how powerful this can be for structuring your data exactly as needed. With just a few clicks, Engini makes it incredibly easy and flexible to handle and customize your data to meet specific requirements. Using parsing and compose string, we've taken an initialized object, made its fields accessible, and prepared them for use in future operations. This approach ensures you can easily manipulate the data as needed for any subsequent steps. Now let's do another example to better demonstrate how variable actions work. In this example, we'll use local variables to build a new array from an existing one. First, we initialize 3 variables before the for loop. The first variable is an array with values ranging from 1 to 5. The second variable is initialized to temporarily store integer calculations before appending the result to the new array. The third variable is an empty array, which will store the final results based on our calculations. Let's move to the for loop. On each iteration, we use set variable to assign the current number from our initialized array to the temporary variable. We take each number, index by index, and multiply it by 2, storing the result in the temporary variable. Next, we append the temporary variable's value to our previously initialized empty array. It's important to note that during each iteration, when we set the external variable, its value updates according to the current number we're processing. This ensures that each action is performed with the correct value for that iteration. Let's run the workflow and check the output. As you can see, With each iteration, the temporary variable stores the value from the initialized array multiplied by 2, and then appends it to the initialized empty array. Eventually, the new array will look like this. In our last example, we used the same workflow as before, but with a small change. After multiplying the current number from our initialized array, we use the increment variable action. This action allows us to increase the value of a variable by any amount we choose. In this case, we'll increment by 20, but you can set it to any value you need. Additionally, there's the decrement variable action, which works in the same way, but decreases the variable by the value you specify. Once the number is increment, we'll append it to our initialized empty array. Let's run the workflow and see the output. Just like in the last example, the new values are stored, but with one small difference. Each value is increased by 20. This adjustment makes the new array look like this. And that's it. I hope this helped you better understand how to use variables. Variables are key when managing important data to fit your specific requirements. Engini provides full flexibility with various variable actions, allowing you to manipulate and adjust any variable exactly as needed. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.